Today in Land Beat, we're going to talk about some of the prescribed fire conditions that you should look for so you can have successful fires on your farm. Prescribed fire, obviously one of our favorite tools as habitat managers. We're conducting one today in a timber unit. And so on this video, we're going to talk about some of our favorite conditions for burning timber. Obviously, if you've been around fire much at all, conducted them, you know that relative humidity has a lot to do with successful fires. Also, we look at temperature and wind speed, and then another one of our favorites is the Haines index. Relative humidity is the amount of moisture in the air. We're going to look at that. Ideally, we're shooting for something from 30 to 50%, and anything lower than that starts to get more into be careful. There might be some spots, and if the fire gets out, it can carry pretty good. So we try to stay above 30. Sometimes we may dip into the 20s, but we never try to conduct fires into the teens. Here in the Midwest, if relative humidity is in the teens for a few days and wind speeds are up there, you're almost likely going to have a red flag warning. Temperatures, we're trying to shoot for something from 30s up to in the 50s, 60s. January through April, you see those cool mornings, but it warms up into the 50s, 60s, 70s. If you're seeing stuff in the 70s with lower humidities, those are days you can really get some great fires in. Wind speed is, for obvious reasons, when you have high wind speeds, you're going to have a greater chance of having a fire get out of control. So we're shooting for having fires with some wind, because that's important to help carry the fire, but you don't want to try to burn when you've got 25-mile-an-hour wind speeds. It's okay to burn whenever you get some gusts up above 15, but to keep it safe, we like to burn when you have about a 6 to 15-mile-an-hour winds that are pretty consistent, and where you're not getting a bunch of swirly winds. Haines index is another one you don't hear a lot unless you're doing prescribed fire. You can look this up through the National Weather Service, through their fire weather chart, but a Haines index goes up to 6. 6 being fire's going to carry. You have a greater chance to consume those 1,000-hour fuels, those big logs, those big snags. Those are likely going to burn with a Haines index of 6. I like to burn when it's 4, sometimes 5 if we really are trying to burn an east-facing slope or an area that has some lower riparian timber and we're just trying to consume some debris. Then we'll try to dip into 5. But that 4 range is our preferred time, 4, maybe 5 for an hour or 2 in the afternoon. But we're looking for wind speed 8 to 12, humidity down into the 30s. We've got full sun, and the Haines index is a 4 or 5. In closed canopy hardwoods or any kind of woodland setting, you're going to have some really good success with those conditions.